That's where Spectrum Business comes in. They have the best business internet and phone available at prices that are up to half off what you're paying now. That's right. You can cut costs for your business and get faster internets. 833-919-2129.
COVID-19 vaccines are available at Target through your CVS pharmacy. From contactless shopping to our continued cleaning efforts, we'll always be there to take care. Schedule a COVID-19 vaccine online through your CVS pharmacy at Target.
The next time you shop at Chewy for pet food, toys, and treats, check out Chewy Pharmacy. You can order prescriptions, veterinary diets, even compounded medications customized for your pet, so you can get what they need to stay healthy. Shop America's #1 pet pharmacy. Visit chewy.com today.
The COVID-19 vaccines are starting to become available across the country. Now is the time to get informed. Get the latest information at getvaccineanswers.org. It's up to you. A message brought to you by the Ad Council and the CDC.
Small business startups are on the rise. Are you one? Hear this. You can get expert advice on starting a small business through online workshops running through June. These free webinars are designed to give you tools to help you start and grow your new business. They're presented by SCORE, a nonprofit resource partner of the U.S. Small Business Administration, and sponsored by Spectrum Business, the leading provider of business internet and phone services here. Don't miss out. Register today at spectrumbusinessinsights.com/webinars.
Small businesses are constantly looking for ways to advance their marketing strategies and grow their companies. That's why Dell Technologies is here to help safeguard your business with modern devices and Windows 10 Pro, providing relevant content for your business's success. Follow along with all episodes of the Dell Technologies Small Business Podference on the Odyssey app, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts starting May 10th.
Live from the DuckDuckGo Studios,
Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station.
KNX KRTH FM HD2 Los Angeles.
KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
An Odyssey station.
Coming up, our top local story for the second day in a row. LA County reports no new coronavirus deaths.
Be ready for an emergency alert on your mobile phone if you're in LA.
LA officials have a warning about the danger of buying medications on the street. With Karen Adams, I'm Brian Ping. It's 4 o'clock.
Pandemic recovery.
A major step forward.
U.S. welcoming more refugees.
The White House says it will raise the cap to 62,500.
It quits.
Bill and Melinda Gates say they are ending their marriage.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper in Chicago. Northeastern states, once the epicenter of the pandemic, are working together on reopening plans. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Wednesday, May 19th, most capacity restrictions will end.
For shops, restaurants, gyms, offices, even Broadway, though it's not likely to come back immediately. The move is in coordination with neighboring New Jersey.
These are huge steps. Unlike any that we've taken since the beginning of this.
Governor Phil Murphy emphasizes it won't be a free-for-all. Social distancing and indoor mask rules still remain.
That's WCBS reporter Steve Burns. Connecticut joins New York and New Jersey in reopening. Meantime, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed into law a measure giving him powers to end all remaining COVID-19 restrictions imposed by communities across his state. After weeks of criticism for his delay in replacing the record-low ceiling set by former President Trump when it comes to refugees, President Biden is raising the cap to $62,500 per year. R.J. Hellman with the Federation for American Immigration Reform says this is bad policy and even worse politics.
This is yet another clear indicator that Biden is a puppet of mass immigration groups, and that explains why every immigration policy decision defies common sense and the common good.
President Biden says it was important to raise the refugee number to show, quote, America's commitment to protect the most vulnerable. President Biden tours educational sites in Virginia, pitching his economic plans, including one that will invest in trade schools.
With the skills they're learning here, and some of the students will go on to be plumbers, members of pipe fitters, local 110, electricians. Look, it means higher union wages with guaranteed health care and pension.
After 27 years, Bill and Melinda Gates have announced they're getting divorced. Melinda Gates told CBS This Morning in 2019 about their philanthropy.
Well, we were engaged to be married, and after we'd taken our first trip to Africa, actually a vacation, we were walking on the beach, and we committed at that point that we were going to give the vast majority of the resources from Microsoft back to society.
And the couple says they will continue their foundation work together. In portions of Mississippi, Georgia, and South Carolina, They're cleaning up after reports of tornadoes. One person has died in suburban Atlanta when power lines fell onto his vehicle. A possible tornado has also caused significant damage across Tompkinsville, Kentucky. On Wall Street, the Dow closed up 238 points. Now this.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. Good afternoon. I'm Brian Ping in for Mike Simpson.
And I'm Karen Adams. Our top local story at 4:03. No reported COVID deaths in LA County for a second day in a row, but there's concern because fewer people are getting vaccinated.
LA County Public Health Director Barbara Ferrer said less than 40% of the county is fully immunized, so they've scrapped appointments to make it easier for people to just show up at a county-run site and get a shot.
I'm really hopeful about the deaths staying relatively low. The deaths, in fact, often intimately linked to hospitalizations. And as long as our hospitalization numbers continue to decline, the death numbers will stay really low.
Ferrer also expects LA County to move into the less restrictive yellow tier this week, meaning more capacity and bars can partially reopen indoors.
There will still be rules around distancing, masking, and infection control.
Ferrer also expects the FDA to authorize the Pfizer vaccine for children ages 12 to 15 any day now, and she said they're ready to start giving out those doses. Emily Valdez, KNX 1070 News Radio.
And no new COVID deaths to report in Orange County, just 55 new cases there. The number of people hospitalized with the virus has dipped below 100. It's now 95.
If you're in LA, expect your cell phone to demand your attention sometime this afternoon.
FEMA is allowing the city of Los Angeles to use the emergency alert system to blast a message to mobile devices within the city to help close the gap between those people who have been vaccinated against coronavirus and those who still haven't.
So many Angelinos have been vaccinated, and now we're trying to find creative ways to get closer to those people who have not yet been vaccinated.
LA's Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, Jeff Garrell, speaking with KNX, he says that the emergency alert will not only be a reminder, but it will also include a link. People can click on it, find the nearest vaccination site to where they are, and just show up, he says. Appointments no longer needed to get vaccinated in the city of Los Angeles. Craig Figner, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Today is shaping up to be a crucial month for the Biden administration. We'll focus in depth on that a little later this half hour at 4:15.
And as things open back up, experts say don't rush to jump back in if you're not ready. Details 2 minutes after traffic. It's 4:05.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s, and let's get you over to today's Fondo.
We've got a problem on the 55, and this is northbound right at the 5 North, so the Tustin area. We had some debris in the roadway, so CHP is going to run a break to get that cleared. We also had a crash on the 57 southbound at Nutwood with a truck involved in this one, a pickup truck. And actually, it's a box truck. And traffic is backed up for just a little bit on that southbound side. This southbound usually looks good at this time of the day. Now let's head to Scott Bird. He is over the San Fernando Valley, the 405 in the Southern California Toyota dealers. Guy 1.
Pretty heavy drive here. Don't see any big problems to warn you about, but North 405 certainly tough coming out of the Sepulveda Pass, and it looks like that is going to remain the case for most of the San Fernando Valley. Expect slowing all the way up to about Nordhoff, and expect additional slowing as you come up on the 118 and head up toward the
shag carpet and old plumbing. A Seller's Advantage will buy your house no matter what condition it is in. Plus, you get to pick when you want to close. Very, very important. SellersAdvantage.com. They're professional. They're experienced home buyers. They happen to be the #1 home buyer right here in Los Angeles, which is really cool. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They know their stuff, and they purchased thousands of homes right here in Southern California over the last decade. So call them for a free, no-obligation cash offer. You can call today. You can call tonight when you get home. Sellers Advantage, the number is 888-421-AS-IS. 888-421-AS-IS. That's 888-421-2747. Listen, when it comes to buying your home now, no one's more professional and more experienced than SellersAdvantage.com. That's SellersAdvantage.com.
These days, nearly every small business owner is looking for ways to cut costs. And that's where Spectrum Business comes in. They have the best business internet and phone available at prices that are up to half off what you're paying now. That's right. You can cut costs for your business and get faster internet. Just what small businesses need right now. Call 833-919-2129 and get all the value with none of the nonsense. That's Spectrum Business. 833-919-2129.
Folks, if you're in the market for a Chevy in Southern California, look no further than CarPro Certified Rotolo Chevrolet. General Manager Mike Capozio is not only my friend, but a true professional committed to your service and satisfaction. Stop by today and see why they're California's #1 Chevy dealer. Rotolo Chevrolet, located on South Highland in Fontana. Take the 210 freeway, exit Sierra. Check them out online at carprousa.com or at their website, rotolochevy.com. Chevrolet, find new roads.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour live and local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Depend on us.
4:15, I'm Brian Ping.
And I'm Karen Adams. Coming up.
It'll be a very busy month for President Biden. We'll find out why in just a couple of minutes.
LA County could be moving into the yellow tier, but there's a dramatic decline in people getting vaccinated. I'm Emily Valdez.
Well, these stories in the next 15 minutes. Right now, 4:15, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. Here's today's Fondo.
We've got a motorcycle crash in Linwood on the 105. This is on your westbound side, just before Long Beach Boulevard. Left lane is blocked with this one. LA County fire on the way. And the backup on that westbound side starting right at the 710. Eastbound side's jammed from the 405. Stays that way all the way over to the 605. Let's check in on a new crash. This one's in Garden Grove. Brian Douglas, 22 jam cam.
It's our west side of the roadway, right at Harbor Boulevard. I'm watching them clear everything over to the right now. 2 right lanes were blocked with this. Right lane may still be partially blocked. That's got you jammed out of the crush, affecting that South 57 as well out of Anaheim, so expect some delays. Your eastbound side, that gets a little slow from Euclid, making your way over into the crush. Let's have a look at your drive on the Hollywood Freeway. The 101 overhead Scott and the Southern California Toyota dealers, Sky One.
101 northbound, you're going to have slowing through downtown. Gets a little better past the 4 level and slows again right around Sunset Boulevard. That's going to be sluggish as you head up through the Cuenca Pass toward the 134, 170, and 101 southbound, slow from Sunset Boulevard down toward the 4 level, Denise.
On that 605 northbound in Industry, coming up on the 60. In fact, at that connector to the 60 eastbound, we've got a new problem reported here, and it looks like this is another stalled car in lanes. And 118 eastbound, just past Topanga Canyon, we've got a pickup truck that is stalled out, and that is out in your number 2 lane. Next report at 425 with more reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo in the Toyota of Glendora.com Traffic Center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Well, this time, Monday afternoons, we focus on key issues in the first months of the Biden administration. And May is shaping up to be a crucial and busy month for the White House. Well, this is Jackie Alemany, who writes the Power Up column for the Washington Post. Well, Jackie, the president and First Lady were in Virginia today pitching his American Families Plan, but that's just one of the priorities the administration is focusing on this month. Is that right?
That's exactly right. There's not just the $4 trillion two-part infrastructure plan that the administration is trying to actually get done by Memorial Day weekend. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said that she wants to put something on the floor by the 4th of July. But as President Biden outlined last week, there's a laundry list of other items, including new timelines that he has urged Congress to get done ASAP. That includes the George Floyd Justice and Policing Bill, which he says that he wants done by the first anniversary of George Floyd's death, which is May 25th, along with Voting Rights Act legislation passed, sent to his desk ASAP. So that includes the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, along with the For the People Act, which is an expansive and sweeping piece of legislation that's already passed the House. All of these things have actually, aside from infrastructure, have already passed the House. So it's really just a matter of when they're going to be put on the floor for a vote. Chuck Schumer told the New York Times last week in an interview that he was planning on bringing all of these things to the floor in May and June. But some of these things are going to require still some behind-the-scenes bipartisan negotiation in order to get through, so long as there's a filibuster in place.
Jackie, now let's go back to the police reform bill. I understand that issue of qualified immunity, which protects police officers from civil lawsuits, that has long been a sticking point. Is that still a major issue going into getting it done?
Yeah, it's no longer as much of an issue. Senator Tim Scott has made a bit of a concession as qualified immunity has gotten less and less popular, and has proposed in his counter proposal that now the bill allow people to sue a police department in whole rather than an individual police officer. Scott argues that this will help affect police culture more holistically, as opposed to just putting in ending qualified immunity, which would, he thinks, scare police officers out of joining forces and continuing to be able to do their jobs.
We talk about there's several trillion, about $4 trillion in proposed spending. And, some people might believe that the president, as in many negotiations, he's coming in high, so to speak. And you mentioned that it's going to need at least some Republican support in the Senate with some of these measures. So do you believe that we could be looking at a smaller figure ultimately, but still get a lot of these programs passed, but you have to give a little bit here and there?
It's still very unclear whether or not this process is going to go forward with bipartisan support or through the process of budget reconciliation. You have the president signaling, along with his administration officials, that they're more willing to work with Republicans on this package than they were with the COVID relief package, which was done through budget reconciliation with the support of 0 Republicans. And now Republicans have said that they're waiting for the president's counter-proposal. Shelley Moore Capito and other Republican lawmakers have been invited to the White House this week to further hash out what the plan is going to look like. But at the end of the day, their counter-proposal was still a fraction of what Biden and the White House put forth. It's $600 billion. And to the majority of Democrats, with the exception of really centrist Democrats, that's an unacceptable figure. But if this process does not happen through budget reconciliation, there needs to be all 50 Democratic senators on board, and people like Kristen Sinema, Senator Joe Manchin still prove to be obstacles because they've also signified that they are not open to that big of a price tag on a bill, nor are they open to raising the corporate tax rate as the Biden administration has proposed.
So what's the reality here of him, with this big agenda for this month? What's the reality of him getting at least some of it done?
The reality is that after, now 4 or 5 years with a pretty dysfunctional Congress, this is going to be a very ambitious month. That's going to require Congress to do a lot of work in bipartisan negotiation. But look, we're hearing lawmakers sound way more optimistic than they've sounded throughout the entire 4 years of the president. You have people like Senator Tim Scott and Congresswoman Karen Bass, a Democrat, saying that they're hopeful that this is going to get done, with Karen Bass saying that the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, she's confident 80% of the way that something is going to get past some sort of police reform. Infrastructure is a little bit of a different, I think, story because there are so many different moving parts here, and it's such a broad, wide, sweeping piece of legislation that just the sheer matter of negotiations is going to take a lot longer. I think, for a Congress that has an ample amount of recess and time spent outside of the Beltway, again, this is going to be a lot to get done.
Jackie Alamani, she writes the Power Up column for the Washington Post. Jackie, thank you. And this time tomorrow, we'll answer more of your questions about coronavirus and the vaccines. All right, now 4:22, we check your money. Here's Tracy Junkie.
Twitter's new audio chat room is going to allow some hosts to charge admission. Twitter says the ability to charge for tickets to a Spaces event will soon be available. And Spaces is now available to Twitter users with Android as well as Apple devices. Long before people kept in touch using Twitter and Facebook, AOL and Yahoo were top online destinations. And Verizon paid $4.5 billion for each of them just a few years ago. They're getting a new owner as Verizon sells its online media division to Apollo Global Management for $5 billion total. Today's dominant internet companies, including Google and Facebook, were weak links for Wall Street. The Nasdaq fell 68 points on a day the Dow climbed 0.75%. It's up 238 points. The S&P's up 11 points. We check your money at 20 and 50 after each hour.
Normal me. Fully vaccinated people can gather outdoors or dine outdoors.
Stay up to date on the latest COVID-19 restrictions and our return to normal.
Go get vaccinated.
Southern California's most listened to source for news.
KNX 1070 News Radio.
Just what small businesses need right now. Call 833-919-2129 and get all the value with none of the nonsense. That's Spectrum Business. 833-919-2129.
No new COVID deaths for a second day in LA County, but there's concern about getting more people vaccinated. The details coming up at the bottom of the hour. It's 425.
Traffic and Weather Together, sponsored by the LA County Department of Public Health. And here is Denise Fondo.
There is a fire just off the 110 in South LA. This is near the 105. Visible from a pretty wide area. Visible from, in fact, downtown Los Angeles. And on the 110 northbound, just south of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in South LA, we've got a new crash reported. And it looks like we've got a truck and a car in this one. Pickup truck and a car. They made it out of lanes. They're on the shoulder of the roadway. Let's head to our motorcycle crash in Linwood. Scott is over the 105 Southern California Toyota dealers. Sky One.
Bad one, too. Looks like fire department just showed up here. 105 westbound coming up on Long Beach Boulevard. That's where the carpool and left lane are blocked. Back up through the 710 this point. A little before the 710, actually. So if you can get on the freeway at Long Beach Boulevard, you'll be in much better shape. Eastbound, expect on and off slowing away from the airport as you work your way into the Linwood area. 22 freeway, Garden Grove, the Jam Cam with Brian.
This is a crash on a westbound side as you come up to Harbor Boulevard. We had two right lanes blocked. Fire department was here as well. Looks like they just pulled away. You're still going to be slow out of the crush, and of course it affects your 57 slow from Catella. Heard from a tipster on the eastbound side. Your drive's not too bad. A little slow as you come up to Harbor Boulevard, making your way over into the crush. Denise.
Problem on the 605 northbound right at the 60 in the City of Industry. It looks like we still have a traffic hazard there, and that is a stalled car in one of the travel lanes. And on the 118 eastbound, just before you reach the Devonshire exit, CHP says we've got a traffic hazard in that location, and it's a pickup truck that is blocking the number 3 lane. VaccinateLACounty.com is the place to go for everything you need to know about the COVID-19 vaccine. Find out when it's your turn and how to make an appointment. Go to VaccinateLACounty.com. Next report, 435. With more reports more often, I'm Denise Fondo in the Toyota of Glendora.com Traffic Center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
It's 427.
Hey, everybody. Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Companies. Last year, we saw historically low mortgage interest rates. In fact, over 1 million homeowners took advantage of refinancing or buying a new home with Rocket Mortgage. What you may not know is that interest rates are already starting to increase again, and it's likely that trend is only going to continue. Our team of experts is standing by to help you save before rates go up. With an official mortgage review from Rocket Mortgage, you'll see just how much money you could save by making a move right now. Don't look back over these next few weeks and wish that you had taken action. You could save hundreds on your mortgage payments or pay off your home loan earlier than planned. You could even take cash out of your home to pay off high-interest debt, complete home repairs, or bulk up on an emergency fund. When you want to secure a low rate, Rocket can. Call 833-8-ROCKET or visit rocketmortgage.com.
Rocket. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. Music that moves you. Odyssey brings you music from stations across the country and across all genres. Top 40 to country, rock to R&B, alternative to classic hits. It's all here. No matter what you're feeling, Odyssey has music for every moment. AUDACY. Find all the music that matters to you in a universe of audio. Odyssey.
Frontier Fiber Optic Internet for Business knows we've all got a job to do, and ours is helping you do yours. From online order to brick and mortar, our 100% fiber optic network is ready for work with blazing fast upload and download speeds and a 2-year price guarantee with no contract. All for just $55.99 per month plus tax and the routers included. Visit fiberopticbusiness.com for complete offer details. Frontier Fiber Optic for Business. How business gets to work. Limited time offer. Services subject to availability and all applicable terms and conditions.
Hi, I'm John Meacham, the host of Cadence 13's new podcast, Fate of Fact, on how America and its political parties got to where we are today. Available now on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Odyssey is all the audio that matters to you. Listen on your smart speaker or voice-assisted device. Amazon Echo, Google Nest, Sonos, Apple HomePod. It's so easy to play your favorites at your command. Hands-free. All kinds of music from all over the country. Top 40, rock, R&B, country, alternative, and more. Sports talk and coverage from all the leagues. News from coast to coast. It's all here. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station. Explore a universe of audio. Odyssey.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. Good afternoon. I'm Brian Ping.
And I'm Karen Adams, our top local story at 4:30. For the second day in a row, LA County is reporting no COVID deaths. But there is concern because most Angelenos are still not fully vaccinated and vaccines are aplenty.
Just 37% of the county is fully immunized, according to LA County Public Health Director Barbara Ferrer. She said the county-run vaccine sites now take walk-ins to make access easier, and they're also prepared with consent forms for when the FDA authorizes the Pfizer vaccine for children over age 11.
And LA County obviously is planning for being able to vaccinate 12 to 15-year-olds. The FDA could grant that approval any day now. We want to be ready.
Ferrer also expects LA County to soon ease more restrictions.
I feel pretty confident that we should be moving into the yellow tier this week.
She says the group least vaccinated in LA County is young Latino men. Emily Valdez, KNX 1070 News Radio.
The Los Angeles Public Library is offering limited in-person services at a number of locations starting today.
As part of the phased reopening plan, the Central Library and 37 other branches will welcome people back.
Libraries will offer select services that can include quick browsing, picking up holds and mobile printout orders, computer access.
Monica Valencia with the Los Angeles Public Library says there will be a 1-hour time limit for using the computers.
And of course, we're very careful making sure that we are offering patrons a safe and welcoming experience at the library. We're going to be having computers that are spaced apart and requiring social distancing protocols and other safety measures in our library.
At this stage, she says lounge seating and reading rooms will not be available. Margaret Carrero, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Orange County's COVID numbers are looking good, but not quite good enough to qualify for the least restrictive yellow tier. Just 55 additional cases of the virus being reported today, no new deaths. That's good, but the weekly average for the adjusted daily rate is not low enough to reach the yellow tier. Right now, it's about 2.5 per 100,000 residents. For yellow, it must be at 2.
Between COVID vaccines and natural infection, some experts thought the U.S. would soon reach what is called herd immunity. Now they're not so sure.
Herd immunity is when enough people are immune to the coronavirus that it has a really hard time finding new people to infect. The pandemic effectively stops. But some people refuse to get vaccinated or even practice things like social distancing, making the herd immunity goal harder to reach.
We have pretty much reached most of the people who are enthusiastic about getting the vaccine. So that leaves people who are on the fence or are waiting to see about getting vaccinated.
Dr. Joshua Michaud from the Kaiser Family Foundation.
Also, of course, we know that there is a significant portion of the population which is not yet eligible to be vaccinated, those under the age of 16.
Even without herd immunity anytime soon, experts say the vaccines will greatly reduce serious illness and death from the coronavirus. Charles Feldman, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Some angry parents and elementary school students took to the streets of Hacienda Heights today. They're protesting what they call deplorable conditions at Wedgeworth Elementary School. They say the nationally recognized dual immersion school has been housed in portable trailers for years. And one parent told CBS 2 young students have to sit inside classrooms that are infested with rodents.
Conditions inside the classrooms are terrible. Constant infestations of raccoons, rats, beehives, and they're still not putting money into it because they say, oh, that's temporary structures.
Parents and students carrying signs demanding safer schools and no portables marched from LA County Supervisor Janice Hahn's office to the Hacienda La Puente Unified School District. Lauren Yokomizo says Supervisor Hahn plans to meet with parents about the conditions at Wedgeworth in the coming weeks.
We know that the current conditions right now are that they're in portables, and that is something that we would like to see rebuilt.
The parents also say the school consists of all portable trailers equipped with only 4 restrooms for the school's 600 children, and there is no kitchen or cafeteria either. LA County answers the lawsuit brought by the widow of Kobe Bryant. Details 2 minutes away after traffic. It's 4:35.
Let's see how those Monday freeways are treating you. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. And here's Denise Fondo.
They're actually pretty busy this afternoon. We're going to go to Scott, get an update on a motorcycle crash. This is on the 105 in Linwood. Scott's in the Southern California Toyota dealers. Sky 1.
105 westbound coming up on Long Beach Boulevard. That's where the carpool and left lane is taken out with this motorcycle crash. The fire department is here, and a big backup through the 710 interchange was slowing as far back as Lakewood Boulevard. If you use Imperial and other surface street, get on the freeway at Long Beach Boulevard, you'll be in pretty good shape heading out to the west of the 110 freeway. Eastbound, expect on and off slowing away from the airport as you work your way into Linwood, Denise.
Well, it's definitely a beautiful drive for drive on PCH. Unfortunately, we've got 2 wrecks, and they're very close to each other. Let's check in with Brian, PCH Jam Cam.
Yeah, unfortunately, northbound, we've got one just as you pass Carbon Canyon. Thank you for the tip call on this. Only one lane getting by. You've got about a half-mile backup building with this one. Now, up ahead at Carbon Beach Terrace on your southbound side, we have another crash, and that is blocking the left lane. And your backup here now starts at the pier, so it's going to be a tough drive for you on PCH here in Malibu. Denise.
On the 10 eastbound near Robertson, we've got a new wreck reported in Mid-City, LA. Also on the 10 westbound, Kellogg Hill, just past Kellogg Drive. In fact, we've got a lot of debris reported across the lanes, so we're going to need a break in traffic for that. And we still have a wreck reported on the 110 northbound. This is just south of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Next report, 4:45 with more reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo in the Toyota of Glendora.com Traffic Center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
We're going to be warmer tomorrow. After the gray burns off, we're going to have valleys reaching 90 degrees, elsewhere 70s and 80s. Looks like it's going to get a little bit cooler on Thursday and Friday as the marine layer deepens, but all told, it's going to be a pretty quiet week out there, as is typical for May in Southern California. Long Beach Airport 73 right now, 81 in Calabasas, Lake Forest 72 at 437.
LA County has filed court papers saying Vanessa Bryant has no legal basis to sue 4 deputies who she accuses of sharing graphic photos of her husband and daughter's crash site. Bryant alleges in her lawsuit deputies who responded to the January 2020 helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant and Gigi Bryant and 7 other people used their cell phones to take and share gruesome photos of the dead children, parents, and coaches. Attorneys for the county argue against the lawsuit because the photos were not given to the media, they were not posted on the internet, and they were not released to the public.
A man accused of getting into a shootout with police that killed an assistant manager at the Silver Lake Trader Joe's has been found mentally competent to stand trial. An LA judge set a July hearing for Jean Atkins, who has pleaded both not guilty and not guilty by reason of insanity to murder in the 2018 death of Melly Corrado. She was killed when Atkins ran into the Trader Joe's following a police chase, and he allegedly got into a gunfight with officers.
A Cypress College professor has taken a leave of absence after she was seen on Zoom interrupting a student who was calling police officers heroes. The student was making a presentation on the term cancel culture during class when the professor cut him off.
I think cops are heroes and they have to have a difficult job, but we have to have
All of
fine
them?
life.
The student later asked the professor if she would call the police if she was in trouble dealing with an armed intruder. She says she wouldn't.
Well, would you have, if someone intruded your house with a gun, would you have a gun on you, or who would you call?
It's my time to go.
The student told the Southern California News Group he doesn't support calls to have the professor fired. Cypress College put out a statement saying any efforts to suppress free and respectful expression on our campus will not be tolerated.
A couple of fake cops are on the run after a carjacking in Burbank. The victims were held at gunpoint on North Naomi Street near Glen Oaks by 2 men with shaved heads with shirts that had police written on the front. They were then left in handcuffs but unharmed as the suspects made off with their gray sedan. Burbank Police Sergeant Emil Brimway tells KNX if anyone holds you at gunpoint, whether they're a real or fake cop or anyone else, the advice is the same.
The best recommendation would be if someone is pointing a gun at you and giving you orders for anyone's safety, I would say it's best to comply at that moment.
And then, he says, call 911 once it is safe to do so. Burbank Police and the LAPD tell us there are no other phony cop incidents that they know of at this time.
From fake cops to fake medicine, authorities here in LA have busted a group allegedly peddling drugs that require a prescription.
2 women in Koreatown are accused of selling fake pharmaceutical meds literally on street corners. LA City Attorney Mike Feuer tells KNX that one woman has been previously prosecuted by his office for similar crimes 4 times, and the meds ranged from antibiotics to what was touted as Viagra.
You don't know what
what is in medication that is sold by somebody on the street. It could be laced with goodness knows what.
One of the defendants, Martha Seguenza, has been ordered to pay a fine, to wear a GPS monitor, and to stay away from the area outside the grocery store